Oh, well, hello, and welcome back to All Brucked Up. How's it going? This is the first time I might want to add that I was allowed to give the intro, and I'm very excited about that because Katie usually just takes over immediately. Whatever, you immediately just steal the show. But for any of you watching on Spotify video or YouTube, I would just like to apologize for my appearance because I was just about to shower and get all prepared for this episode, except for I had no idea that in New York or America they changed their clocks back already, and we did not hear. So they're like, okay, you ready? And I'm like, ready for what? Because I have an hour. So sorry for me looking like this. I've been working all day, running around, and yeah. But today we have a very exciting guest. We have one of my oldest friends, and not oldest like as an age, like oldest is like we go back way long ago, Ilana Fish.
I just use really good face cream. I'm actually 75.
Seriously, right? We go to really good surgeons. But yeah, so welcome to All Brucked Up, Ilana. We're so happy to have you.
Great to have you here.
I'm so excited. I've been listening to every episode.
Oh my God, you're like a number one fan. I shove such enough. I love that.
So right off the bat, I got
logo, by the way.
What?
I said I love your logo.
All right.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello. Oh my God.
Right.
So for any of those wondering, I know, right? I'm okay, guys. I literally just walked to the door from work. So basically, if any of you have noticed, whenever I like posted like an episode or whatever, I always said like, you know, credit for the art, like Ilana Fish. So this is Ilana Fish. She is the designer of our album cover, and she does graphic design. She actually has a whole company. I probably don't want to get into too much detail. You'll tell us all about it. But yeah, so shout out to Ilana because you literally were the one helping us become this number one podcast on Spotify.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a great segue into Ilana telling us what it is that she does, how she got into graphic design. Because I love graphic design. A lot of my friends do it, and I would love to, hear a little bit more.
Totally.
So, just to preface this with saying, Sheldon and I we met at Bar Ilan.
In Israel.
And then we went to LIM together. God. And anyway, so I graduated with a fashion degree, and I had a blog called Sababa in the City, where I blogged about Israeli fashion because just like Israel's known for its startup and tech communities, it should be known for its fashion as well, because I think it has so much to offer. And then during the pandemic, I kind of pivoted and took some online courses, got certified in graphic design, and now my company is called Sababa Creative, and it's a full service creative agency. I do creative consulting, graphic design, and copywriting for website like redesign and stuff. So,
ooh, it's so amazing.
It's very cool.
And then we had the pleasure of her squeezing us into her very busy schedule to make us our artwork. So that's how you know she's a true friend. And
it's funny because I feel like I'm not so fashion inclined, but I feel like there is in certain parts of Israel, there's a very Israeli look. I don't know how to explain it. Like
you're not fashion inclined. You would love the way you dress.
Well, I mean, but like okay. But I feel like men's fashion in Israel is not nearly.
Yeah, but I'm saying in general, fashion inclines, but because you're into fashion, but you're also thinking. I feel like I mean, I'll let her talk, but like you're thinking of it, like oftentimes I feel like whenever we would come to Israel, like when we were younger, it was always like staying in Jerusalem, where you just see like the older school Israelis. But like if you go to like Tel Aviv or any of the areas, or even Jerusalem now, it's super up and coming. And there's some huge ass like wedding gown designers, Nina Toreg or something like that. I forgot her name.
Nina Tornay, when she rose to fame because she does the whole say yes to the dress.
Right, so I met her, I had no idea who she was. I helped her out when I worked for Robbie Brown, and but yeah, then someone's like, "You don't know who that was?" I think it was you, and then I looked up, and was like, "Oh my God!" But there's some people who really are really big here. Things have really evolved over time here for sure.
In a super short time, 70 years.
Literally, to go from desert to where we are now.
Fun fact: the bucket hat invented in Israel.
Was it really?
Really?
Mm-hmm. And
like an icon of hip hop.
The MoMA had 100 pieces of clothing that changed history, and the bucket hat made it there. So
it did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I can never pull it off. I have a really awkwardly shaped small head.
I hate when people say they can't pull something off because you just wear it with confidence, and that's it.
I was literally about to say, if you're confident, no one would even think twice.
Girl, if I met up with you wearing any bucket hat, you would pull it off of me. Trust me.
No, I mean, I'd obviously please, I'd be like,
you'd be like, Shell, like,
okay.
no, like, can't be seen with you right now.
Let's burn that real quick.
Literally. So like Ilana mentioned, we actually studied abroad. Like a lot of like people in like America, like a lot of like the religious Jews and stuff, like after high school, they like go to like a year abroad to Israel. It's like a seminary, yeshiva. So like we found this program called
through Masa, which we didn't know at the time.
Right, literally. And it was called the Israel Experience at Bar Ilan. It's a 1-year program, so a lot of the people who went to Bar Ilan, like regular school, called us OIPs because we were a 1-year program. And basically,
OIPs.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have the oi. You can't. You definitely put the oi in OIP.
Right.
Totally. I gewalt. And so we found this program, and it seemed like really good because it was like, kind of Jewish studies in the morning, but like you have your, college classes in the afternoon. So it was like the best of both worlds because you're getting your college credits. So it's like, you're really going to your freshman year, but you're also getting a year abroad and everything.
And like the Jewish studies in the morning, men and women separate.
Yeah, right. We were like really strict about that. So like, so it seems like a really good program, and like from the outside and the brochures and everything like that, it seems like great and everything. I remember the day I met Ilana, and she still denies it, even though I still remember it exactly the same way. I'm literally like schlepping my luggage. And when you pull up into like where our dorms were, in the front, like when you pull up, there's like this like building and stuff, and you make a right to go towards the men's dorms in the other road. She's sitting on this bench, like you might have been, popping a lot of gum, I don't know. And she has like all these like nice, like she has like all these nice bags around her. I'm like, oh my God, hi, I'm Sheldon. What's your name? She looks me up and down, Ilana. And I was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. She's like, I was like, oh shit.
First of all,
I was like,
backstory, I was dealing with like some situation, like with my luggage or with my room or something, 1. 2, whenever I look people up and down, I'm just checking out your shoes. I just want to see the whole situation. That's all. I'm not like...
I know, but let's be real. Now looking back on it, what was my situation at that time? I would have also
your
been
situation was head to toe Ed Hardy was your situation.
I was literally about to ask, I swear, if he was wearing Ed Hardy sneakers.
100%.
Everything.
Sneakers and shirt and his little merce.
He got me in
the Fifo Fennel bag.
Oh my goodness.
Those were the days.
My Chinatown Fennel.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of a kind. And yeah, so it was a bit of a crazy year. We ended up becoming really good friends. The year itself was a bit of a joke. Like, no one really showed up to classes. Like, it was kind of all over the place. Didn't really have any structure. But we became really good friends out of it.
I will say it had as much or as little structure as you made the effort. Do you know what I mean?
So you kind of had to discipline yourself if you wanted to partake.
Like Kiva, I literally would show up to like my Jewish literacy class with Rabbi Siegel. Shout out Rabbi Siegel. And we were supposed to be 35. I would show up. I'm one of 4. Like I was one of those 4. And nobody failed or didn't get the credits. Like it was literally like a free for all. It was just a party year.
Is it meant to be like a college year just in Israel? Like
a regular... So I somehow found myself in an economics class all in Hebrew. I checked out. Like, I can't even understand economics in English, let alone another language.
Exactly.
And, what was our marketing teacher's name? You either loved him or you hated him, and everyone hated him.
He hated me.
God forbid a teacher would get angry when you cheat, like chas v'shalom. Like,
he was the only one that actually took any of it seriously. Oh, and here's Tessa. Yeah. Hello, this is Tessa.
Exactly.
Literally. No, I'm literally taking finals and kids are literally talking to each other. Yeah, so what's the answer to that one? Like not whispering, no nothing. They're just
and no one cared.
No, it was a joke. And I'm sitting there I really was I literally was studying Ilana's notes the whole night before because I'm taking notes. Ilana had the best notes.
But I
always.
Will say,
in LIM, best notes. Always.
No, but who had better notes than me? This girl named Danit, God bless her. And she was smart.
Oh my God,
she didn't just be like, here, take my notes. She's like, here, do my laundry, and I'll give you my notes. Or here, pay me, and I'll give you my notes.
That is smart, totally.
That is smart.
It's like, what's in it for me, bitch? You want my notes, so what am I getting out of that?
Right.
That is so fair. So fair. She's smart.
Well, my roommate, shout out Michelle Basali, now Masari, who has a baby. She made me the most delicious Persian cutlets every night, and I made her bed. So that was our trade-off.
Okay, right? That's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
See, you got to do like a tit for tat kind of thing.
Oh wait, so Ilana, are you from New York?
I thought you were about to say I'm from. I'm like, I don't know.
Are you from?
No, so originally I'm from outside Philadelphia.
Born and raised at the playground.
Haven't lived. I know. I don't want to talk about the Eagles. It was okay. And then I haven't lived there since high school. I went to Bar Ilan, and then kind of moved to New York, and met my husband, and we live in New Haven now because he got a job at Yale, so that's where we live now.
He's like a doctor and stuff, whatever.
Oh, he's a doctor?
He's a resident.
Yeah, now, whatever.
That's super
he's
cool.
Currently, actually sitting outside on our deck studying for boards. So
no, it's super cool. I have like 3 friends who are in the residency now, and it's at this point it's like you already did the school, like you're a doctor, like it's pretty.
You're a doctor, but you're still making the resident salary. So when my mom's on the phone, Ilana, you should treat yourself to like a weekly massage. I'm like, do you want to pay for that? Like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Right. Or be like, oh, are you paying me for that for me? Thank you.
What kind of medicine does he want to do?
He's an interventional radiologist, which means basically like non-invasive surgeries, like shrinking tumors, that kind of thing.
Right.
And they have like this really fancy thing called the Da Vinci, where it's like basically you're playing video games inside someone's body with a catheter. So
it's like that game.
Wild.
What's that game? Like they used to buzz when you're like Operation.
So it's like Operation, but just like a little more high tech.
Because it's like
one of my friends just is doing residency in IR right now. He just moved to I think Columbus maybe for his residency, but yeah, he's doing interventional radiology.
Ohio.
As well. Yeah.
I think
it's very hit or miss with where you end up for your residency, from what I hear.
Well, he didn't even make it to interventional radiology first. He made it to just regular like diagnostic, and he had to apply again. It's just applying, and the tests never end.
I forget tests never end. I feel like school never ends. It's like literally, it's like you finally become a doctor, and it's like, oh my god!
Unless you want to do a fellowship, then it's another 2 years. But
I couldn't make it through all of LIM. No way in hell I would have made it through medical school.
Well, Sheldon
Some
went
people
to
love
makeup.
that.
Sheldon went to 2 schools, LIM and makeup school. I remember he slept his whole like.
Shut up, makeup designery. I schlepped all my stuff for school in my backpack, and I used to wheel around my makeup bag because I used to have to run from the Upper East Side to Soho for school. And I literally sound like the most first American girl ever. I used to have to schlep from the Upper East Side to Soho. Like, oh my god. Like, it was so not like that, but that was my life at the time because I didn't realize that I was living the life at the time.
But shout out to Sheldon, who did my makeup on my wedding day.
Wow.
Yeah, and shout out to Adam Fish, her husband, for letting me.
I know, because we did a trial run, and literally Adam saw me, and he has a problem with like, saying
any makeup.
Thinking. So he looks at me, he's like, this is first, he's like, oh. I'm like, oh my god, I love to see you too. And he's like, is that how it's gonna be? Because I'm like, just leave me alone. Let me have my freaking
very to the natural look. No, but you looked good on your wedding day. You let me
What did I want? The Meghan Markle sparkle.
The Meghan Markle sparkle. Like pre-getting evicted from the cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sheldon and I remember he used to schlep it specifically. We had public speaking class together, which was a joke.
In LIM, seriously. Oh my god, our teacher barely spoke English.
And then we made a few friends there. I'm not friends with them anymore. Sheldon's not friends with them. No. But basically they used to just like take public speaking, and they would just like read like Herzl's speech, Ben Gurion's speech. They would just like hasbara the ish out of that class, and people would just be like, because other people were reading like Martin Luther King and like this and that, and she's like, no, I'm going to give you a little history lesson here during public speaking.
Right.
Those were the days.
Where's LIM's in the city?
Upper East Side.
No, Sheldon. Actually, only the dorms on the Upper East Side. The school itself is on 45th, between Madison and Fifth.
So it's
Midtown.
Considered west? Well, I guess it's Midtown, but Midtown East. But hello, one of the buildings I was on 53rd.
That's not the Upper East. Learn your hood.
Okay, I was in the Upper West Side by 63rd, so I don't do the Upper East
and
Side.
West End.
LIM used to stand for Laboratory Institute of Merchandising, but they dropped it.
Every time people ask me where'd you go to school, LIM. Oh, what's that? Long Island.
I thought it was Long Island Institute of many things.
It's like, yeah, like it was like a made up school that cost a lot of money.
I will say to anyone listening, do not ever go to a for-profit school like we did, because they do not care about your education. That's secondary. No. The first thing they care about is making money. So it was
$19,000 per semester without any of the books or anything like that. And then that's $40,000 a year, $38,000 a year, plus if you wanted to go to the summer classes.
But every so often they would just like change the requirements you need to graduate.
Everything.
So literally,
oh my God, all the time. That's why I left.
Keep you there longer.
My BBA, they just added like a bunch, like 17 more credits. I'm like, what?
There was a girl who was, I kid you not, 30 in one of my classes, and I'm like, she's like, I just want to get out of here.
She's been there for 20 years.
She's like,
right? Seriously, she has gray hair.
Just let me out of here.
That's
like, I want to see my grandchildren.
One of my friends, I kid you not, one of my friends like owed something like $100 to the school, so they were withholding her diploma until she paid the $100.
Totally.
Yeah, that's why I just bypassed college. I didn't want to have to
right?
deal with any of that nonsense.
You just gotta avoid any of that. No, it's just like, America. It's like, oh, you wanted to be educated. Oh yeah, no, that's gonna cost you.
It's really crazy. I had to pay for my wife's. She was in a master's program. She's a social worker, and she did YU's program, Wurzweiler, the School of Social Work. It's like $60,000 a year. I'm like,
crazy.
Geez, we don't even have kids. I'm already paying tuition for 5.
Seriously, that's why I don't have any kids. $60,000 a year, you could buy like yourself a really nice car each year.
Yeah.
But
and then, in Israel, it's like you're paying a few thousand, dollars maybe in total, like.
Crazy. Our classes were, and the LIM was 90% women, 10% men. And it was just like, no one took the classes seriously. We had a final going on, and this girl walks in 25 minutes late, like struts in with her, like, she's dressed like she's ready to go to the club. That's how girls dress, like going to our school.
Because she just got back from the night before.
And the teacher, like, he's some old, like, Brooklyn Jewish man. His claim to fame was, like, bringing the Burberry coat to Bloomingdale's. He's like, excuse me, what are you coming in late for? She's like, I was getting lash extensions, as if, like, duh. And he's like, and he's just like,
well, obviously.
He's like, get out. She's like, you'll be hearing from me. This is unacceptable. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God.
It sounds like it's out of a movie. That literally sounds like that can't be real. Someone coming in saying I was getting my lash extensions done.
But it's as if like, duh.
And I'm literally sitting in one of my classes. And I remember this so clearly. I can tell you where I was even sitting. And I was just telling my coworker Lauren about this. And I'm sitting in one of the classes, and we're talking about like the Berlin Wall, and the
like you do
girl next to me.
As you do.
She's like, "That's in China, right?"
Oh my God!
I'm like, no, that's in Berlin, in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't tell you how many times like I was partnered up with someone. We were doing like partner work, whatever, and I'm just sitting there like, that's not okay. How did you?
So I kind of wonder,
school?
like, we obviously, I don't know if you went to a Jewish private school when you grew up, or you in a private?
Yeah,
right, I feel like when you have like a double curriculum, you got obviously like you slack off at some classes, but you kind of have to be focused in other classes. But when you're in public school and you only have one curriculum, it's probably easier to fall off and just not really pay attention in those classes.
I will say, shout out to Akiva Hebrew Academy, now known as Bar Hebrew Academy. Best education I ever got. Like,
it's like us in Ari Crown.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got such a good education. Shout out mom and dad. I know at times it was tough, but you did it.
I remember at my graduation that I made it to, it was a big blessing, and my mom went over to the principal before the ceremony began and said, "You see, Akiva made it." And he said, "The graduation didn't start yet."
There's still time.
He did have some valid points, though.
But I bumped into him like a year or two ago. He didn't even recognize me, and I was just like, "I'm alive, baby. I made it." Yeah, felt good.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Exactly.
Oh, speaking of, I have to say, I loved your apartment in Rehavia. Sheldon took us there like on Shabbat when we were there for a year. It was so beautiful, so like homey, so nice. We had the best Shabbats there.
Have you ever been
Love
to
that place.
Efrat? It's even better.
Sheldon's pronounced Efras.
Efras. Well, if you ask my ex-brother-in-law, one of them, he made up this whole story that I used to throw house parties and everything in my parents' place. Because you remember when we were in Ragers, like when we went there for Shabbos and we robbed Duncan Hines.
I wish you would have thrown Ragers at the house. Where was
Apparently I did. I don't know, but you know me, I used to freak out. Like we had to wash all the linen. I wouldn't leave until everything was like done.
Yeah, I tried bringing friends to the house. I did a few times, but I would have so much anxiety about the sheets. And one time, one of my friends was like, he like took the crock pot top off to like get a smell of the cholent because you got to get a smell. And he managed to drop the glass and it shattered all over the floor. That was the last time I ever brought anyone home. But I called mom and she's like, "Don't worry, I have a second one." And I was like, "Nice."
There's probably like 15.
Did you guys throw parties when your parents went away at home?
No, I never did.
Do you know me? I would have such anxiety about like
I've had parties,
that
but not
broken.
Right, I've had parties, but not like music, like crazy loud music.
Right, not like people
lights,
all over the house and everything. Right.
So I lying to my
like
parents is a
when
big no-no. I can't lie to I can't lie to anyone, but like lying to my parents. I'm the worst liar. So I was like, "Mom, can I have this party?" And she's like, "Absolutely, just let me be here." I'm like, "Are you serious?" People brought, I don't know, this was high school, right? And like obviously people were smoking weed already, but like someone even brought like coke or ecstasy or I don't know what. It turned into like, you know, those parties, it turned into like a friend brought a friend. Like people came from Brooklyn. I had no idea who these people were.
Oh my God, I wish I knew you back then. No, I was such a goody two-shoes back in the day. It's really pathetic.
No, and your mom was just there chilling this whole time while this was happening.
She's not like those other moms. She's a cool mom.
My mom helped my like high school boyfriend at the time like vomit in the sink. Like shout out, Mom. She was great.
Love that.
I mean, listen, it's better that someone's there helping rather than you guys rather than him.
No, but I feel like it's also but I feel like that's a good parent also because it's better, like as opposed to being one of those parents where like your kid's gonna sneak out anyways. You have no idea where they are, what they're doing. God knows too. It's like I'd rather have it going on in my house to know.
She literally just like had a big bowl and just told everyone put your keys in the bowl and just that's it.
That's really good, right? Because that's the thing. It's like at least you know that they're under your roof. You know that your kid's safe. Like so it's like it's actually smarter.
Right.
My mom and I made Jello shots. My mom and I made Jello shots for my brother's graduation party. So we keep it in the family.
Cute. Oh my God, love that.
Yeah, I don't think our parents would have ever. I don't think our parents would have ever been making Jello shots. At least definitely not when I was in high school.
Just my mom. My dad.
Oh my God.
My dad just like stayed upstairs. He's like, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to see it. No.
My dad will like buy all the booze and everything for like when he's throwing a kiddish or like a party or something like that. So much alcohol. He usually like has his mindset on just 2 companies and buys 15 of each. And he doesn't really drink ever. Maybe he'll have a shot and it takes him like 3 times to have that one shot. But like he just gets it because like everyone else does and stuff like that. He's not into it.
He drinks a bit more now.
I told my mom, I was like,
on Shabbat.
I was like, Mom, you gotta pick me up from this party. I'm really high. She's like, no problem. She picks me up with my dad. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right? Why did you do that exactly?
Why'd you bring him?
And
that's the thing. I feel like that's it's a much better relationship to have with a parent like that, where you can have an open and honest relationship with your kid as opposed to your kids hiding secrets from you. Like
she took one look at me. She's like, I'm making you a rotisserie chicken. I'm like, God bless you.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my God.
I can't even imagine having that sort of
but you would have had chicken Kiev.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have asked. I wouldn't have called and said, "Come pick me up. I'm high." Dad would have been like, "Walk home."
Does Joe Bruck make good chicken Kiev?
Dad wouldn't have said anything. He would have been like, "What are you talking about, Joe? One of your kids called?"
Wait, does Joe Bruck make good chicken Kiev?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! If you ask Akiva, she only made chicken Kiev back in the days, and she's like, "No, I didn't."
It's one of my favorite dinners. It's insanely delicious.
You remember when we were kids? When I would ask my mom, like, "What's for dinner?" She'd be like, "Leftovers." I'm like, "Oh my God!" Now I was like an adult, like all the time. Like when I lived in New York, I used to love going to my sister's for Shabbat. I'd be like, "Whatever leftovers, I'm taking home." Like I love it as an adult. So I'm like, "Hello, free food. Why would I want to spend more money?"
Right.
Yeah, it's the little things.
L'chaim.
Oh my God.
That's okay?
Yeah, she just dropped some of my makeup. I had I had one of my the employees in our California office. Shout out to Adam. He messages me because I guess in the clip I posted on LinkedIn, my wine glass was invisible. He's like, I'm not gonna watch another episode of your show if you're not gonna have your wine glass in the show. I was like, don't worry, I'm holding it the whole time. Maybe it just wasn't the clip. He's like, good. He's like,
you can get like
your face.
You can get like
I'll
a
switch to something
bedazzled
harder
one.
next time.
Right? I call my Olivia Pope glass. Remember from Scandal? She always had like those wine glasses that have a long day. She just like would curl up and like hold it like this, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to hold it this time, Olivia Pope.
That's like the classic thing. You curl up with a book and like a glass of wine. You got it curled up.
But you
Let your
don't want
hands
to
warm it up.
Seriously.
Right.
And then you take a bath that's so relaxing. You have candles set everywhere. Like, do people really do that? Like, even when you have like a really beautiful house, like on Architectural Digest, they have those bathtubs. How many of those people are like, yeah, I'm going to take a bath now. And like actually soak in a bath with the candles lit and like everything like that. Ideally, it sounds great.
I'm lucky if I can squeeze in a shower every day, like with the mulligan I have going on in my house.
Right? Is she?
Right.
So you have a daughter. So is she in like daycare?
She's in daycare part time, like every day till 12:30. She didn't go today because she has food poisoning, so she stayed home.
What did you give her?
Well, only till 12:30. What time does it start?
Starts at 8:15.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Full days are till 3:30. So like
that's actually not bad for like Gone.
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's like it flies by for you, but I feel like it's like, I feel like when I went to Gone, like at Gone Catan, when I was a little kid, shout out. I mean, they're gone now, but I think it was like 2:30 or 3, and that was like a stay later.
She's just such a character, and like she's like the little like leader of her class. Like she's so bossy. Like she's a little too bossy. But
I wonder where she gets that from.
I don't know. I'm not bossy. I'm not.
Right?
Sheldon, tell some more fake things about me.
That's funny because that's my oldest daughter, Yocheved. That's exact. She like takes control. She's a leader.
She is the boss. Like you don't cross her. Hold on. How old is Rafaela now?
She's a little over 2.5.
So Akiva, how old
so
is
she is age. Yeah, she is 2.5.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
He was born November 24th, 2020.
Akiva, are you also experiencing the terrible twos?
I would say I'm more experiencing the terrible 4s than I am the terrible 2s. Okay. I have 2 4-year-olds.
Right, that's the thing also. It's like double trouble.
And it's funny that you said that because literally yesterday in the kitchen, I remember clear as day, the kids were freaking out, and I turned to my wife and I said, I don't know who made up the terrible 2s nonsense, but they obviously didn't make it to 4 because, I mean, the kids were just wild. Because at that point, they're like, they have so much more attitude in the way that they say things to you and what they say to you. You're just like, who are you?
But your kids are also really expressive, like really
My
expressive.
daughter just turned to me the other day. It's also because like you want to laugh, but you can't laugh. You have to be serious and a disciplinarian. Because she turns to me the other day
I'm an
and
uncle, I don't have to.
She hit me on the hand and she goes, Ema, shame on you. I'm like, shame on you? Where did you hear that from?
Right?
It's a laugh, but you can't. She's like, with her finger, she's like, shame, shame, shame. I'm like,
right.
Oh my God.
It's really funny because I remember Shia, my youngest son, was bothering his brother, and he was 4 at the time. And he turns to me, he's like, Daddy, can you take him away? He's going to give me a heart attack. I was like, you're 4 years old. You have no stress. Suck it up.
Give me a heart attack. He doesn't even know what it actually even means.
He's an Ashkenaz Jew, all right. That's enough. He's going to give me a heart attack.
Totally, right? Exactly. I got to tell you.
I mean, I'm raising a middle-aged Jewish woman. She's obsessed with Fiddler on the Roof. Normal children.
Tevye died.
I know.
My mom's like, Sababa died. I'm like, who?
Chaim
Tevye. I'm like, Tevye died? I had no idea what his real name was. I was devastated.
Homegirl
but honestly,
From
Sarah is my OG. Love her.
Who?
From Sarah, the one that comes out of the grave and shit.
Oh my God, From
Loved her.
She comes out of the grave.
Better work. Yeah, he has a whole dream. She like comes out of a grave. It's like his ex-wife or girlfriend or something like that.
Oh, right.
Whole song, and she's all freaky and shit with like a lot of eyeliner. Oh my God.
Yeah, Tevye was he was a great guy. I think he had an orphanage or something in Israel that like he fully funded and supported for like the rest of his life.
You mean that Chaim Topol, the actor?
Yeah, Chaim Topol.
Exactly. Tevye, exactly. Yeah, so shout out. Loved him.
Yeah.
From Sarah Stalls, my OG.
He literally just passed away on the 8th. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Because Mom told me. I'm like, who?
May his memory be a blessing.
She also said, my mom's like, you have to watch this new show, Your Honor. I'm like, what? Who's in it? She's like, oh, and she mentioned some guy's name. Like, Mom, I have no idea who that was. I don't know. She's like, the guy from Breaking Bad. I'm like,
Bryan
Walter
Cranston.
White.
Walter
She's like, yeah.
White.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. I have no idea. Bryan Cranston's his name?
Yeah, we're
Sorry,
watching.
Brian.
My husband and I are now watching The Last of Us, like everyone else. Are you guys watching that?
I
haven't
watched it, but like, isn't it a video game?
It's based on.
So it took me a while to get into it, but like once you buy into the premise of the story, like I cry at the end of every episode. It's basically like, it sounds okay. It's like, because I hate zombies. Like I think they're so dumb. Like I hate zombie movies, zombie everything. I think it's like they're just stupid. But like this is a whole thing where like a fungus, just like it happened just like COVID, like a fungus like infects one person, and then it basically like, because the temperature of the earth like rose to a certain temperature where now this fungus can live in humans, and it's just like they become like, they take over the brain and like whatever, and so basically that's what the show's about, and they're trying to survive, and like there's quarantine zones and like all this stuff, and
Is
and
it like similar
like
to The Walking Dead?
I never saw that. But it's crazy because it happens in like 2003 or 1999. So basically from then to 2023, no one ever invented the iPhone. No one ever invented. So it's like crazy that they're living in a bit of a different world. It's like a really cool show.
So they're not Snapchatting as everyone's dying? Oh my God. Gen Z would be rolling in their graves if they were dead already.
I'm officially, like, do you guys feel like sometimes...
How am I supposed to tweet about me dying if I'm dying? Like, what's the point of dying then?
Do you guys sometimes feel like you're officially, like, out of, like, the youth? Because, like, my brother's 6 years younger than me.
Oh my God, Akiva, and I still think you're still so young.
Who?
Akiva. I feel like Akiva's so young because I feel like I'm an old man.
I
like
officially,
30.
like, I'm out.
I do social media management for a living. I work for a high tech company, and I just recently started TikTok for them and everything. But when it comes to my own personal life, TikTok, to me, the fact that it's the #1 social media platform is like, I used to always say like the Kardashians were like the main thing showing how society is really falling apart. Hi, my cat's biting me. Hello, Tessa. Goodbye, Tessa.
Oh, I really don't like that.
And I'm not even offended. I never thought I was a cat person, and here I am. I remember telling my therapist when I was 19, I'm like, oh my, I used to see the same one I saw in New York. I just FaceTime with him. I'm like, oh my God, if I'm ever like single, 30, and living with cats, like, just kill me. And now I'm single and 30, and I have a cat, but I have a dog too. And but I'm also much happier than I was then, and I'm fine being single.
There you go.
Yeah.
You were just in the middle of a train of thought till you got sidetracked by your cat, Sheldon.
I'm ADHD. What was my train of thought? What was I talking about?
You were talking about, you messed me up.
Ilana, anyone?
You were literally in it.
How, like, we're TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So it's literally like, and it's funny. I recently heard from someone. I can't say it's 100% true. I heard from a couple people, but I don't know it's true. I haven't looked into it. But supposedly TikTok in China is actually a very educational app. It is true, right?
It is,
very educational app, because there was a girl who was here, and she was like, the TikTok here and in America is completely different.
It's two different TikToks. They also put a timer, like for kids 16 and younger, 18, they put a timer on it, so it like locks you out of the app after a certain amount of time. But like they're literally, I feel like they're just sitting there and laughing, like what idiots we are that we're like feeding this to our kids, and like
there, from YouTube and stuff like that, you can learn tutorials. Let's say you're even a young girl, you want to start getting into makeup, you can learn that. You want to learn how to build a shed or something like that, you can find a video for that. There's things you can find that are educational. In this, you see a bunch of these teenage girls who are, I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, why are they dressing like that and all that stuff, but like, and then they're all just like twerking and going like.
Yeah, always weird hand motions and lip syncing.
You literally look like Britney when she was on Lithium, like dancing like at her tour, or like Give Me More at 2007 VMAs, where she's like,
Give me more lithium.
These girls are just like.
Sheldon like WhatsApped me some link to TikTok. He wanted to show me a funny video. I'm like, Sheldon, I'm sorry, I don't open TikTok. I'm scared.
The only reason why I have TikTok is because of my nieces. and my friend Chaim Levin. Shout out Chaim Levin. Oh,
I mean, you could read in their terms of service what the sort of information they're looking at on your phone and your computer.
They don't even know. That's why they're having these 2 bills that are going through Congress, because they do not know how much is actually being collected as it goes to China. How funny that after everyone's like, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, it leaks from a lab. Now they're like, oh, yeah, we think it's leaked from a lab.
And then my brother sends me something on Snapchat, and I'm like, I can't open that. Snapchat sells drugs. You know that, right? Is
that a real thing?
For drugs. Really?
Yeah.
What does it mean, Snapchats for drugs? I didn't know about this.
There's a lot of drug users on Snapchat who sell drugs. I sound like such a narc, but like...
There's a lot of drug users that sell drugs, and they do drugs because they're drugs.
Drugs with a Z.
You're like a Jewish mom, and they sell those drugs.
And like certain emojis like mean certain like drugs, and it's and because the messages disappear, parents don't know. Like, it's pretty conducive for selling drugs.
That's crazy,
right?
Wait, Sheldon, what's this new app? It's like stop and wait, or like you take a photo of what you're doing at that moment. Keep it real. What's it called?
So Be Real. So I only have it. Hold on. First of all, I only have it because my nieces, and then there's a girl in my office named Netta. Shout out Netta. And she also has it for the same reason. So like randomly when we get in the office, but let me just tell you about this app. So it literally, so what it does is like, you, for some reason, like you can take a picture of like yourself or what you're looking at first, but whatever the second picture is going to be, because you use your front camera and your back camera, you can't see what the second photo is going to be. It just says, please wait or whatever. So it can be blurry, you can be out of focus. It annoys me for that reason. Basically, it's whatever you're doing. But they send you it at a different time. Everyone gets a different time. It's from an algorithm. These bitches are literally trying to make me look really bad, because I swear to God, they only send me the freaking message when I'm already at home in the same corner of my couch, drinking my wine, watching Netflix.
Hold on, it sends you a message when it wants to take a picture of you?
It says you have 2 minutes to be real, so you have 2 minutes to do it. You can't edit the photo, you can't filter the photo, you can't do anything like that. And also, you can follow friends, but you can't see any of their things until you do your own. But the whole thing is like no filters, it's really yourself, and people you actually care to keep up with, you'll keep up with them and everything. But like even like you can't comment on photos, but you could do an emoticon. But like when you click on the emoticon, you have to take a picture of yourself making that face. So like you can't do a heart eyes. You have to be like, so like
you're like sitting on the toilet. What do you like?
So you can post it late. So you can post it late, but it says that you posted it late, which I don't care. It says you posted it late and how late you were.
Right.
It's just like, but like they're really trying to sabotage me. I don't just sit on my couch all day drinking wine. I do other things sometimes.
Everyone's just trying to get. Everyone's been pushing short form content everywhere, and YouTube also. YouTube has strongly veered away from that. YouTube Shorts is like the new big thing.
I know, but all the view counts for all those things are just such garbage, like TikTok and all that, because the things keep repeating until you swipe up to the next one. So as long
but you think it's counting that as? Because some of these have like 100 million views.
Akiva, look at all the videos. If you compare YouTube views to TikTok views, it's not normal. But then when you're looking at the ratio of comments and likes to views.
But also YouTube Shorts has similar viewing numbers as TikTok.
100%, because it's the same thing. Even if you watch it, you can watch it on your Apple TV, it doesn't play the next video. It keeps repeating the same video until you go and scroll up to the next one.
Right.
So it's
just pumping it out as fast as they can.
I was watching the Oscars red carpet the other night, and I didn't know who half the people were on the walking.
Hold on, who was that girl who was legit naked wearing a feather across her boobs?
I saw that, but again, she's from a show that I don't watch. I have no idea. I don't know who she is.
Who is the host? Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Like,
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once basically won everything.
I heard it was incredible.
Because the Oscars has to save their look and be like, yeah, look, we're so diverse.
No, but I heard it was actually
it was really good.
No, it wasn't. It was a great movie.
You have to watch it.
Show up for Asian representation because
you have to watch it sober, and then you have to watch it again high.
Okay, so I'll have to try to get sober the next time and watch that. I'll let you know.
It's funny because it looked very interesting. I remember like seeing a commercial for it on like an ad, and it looked like very interesting. And then everyone I know that saw it was like, it was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It was one of the most like original concepts for a movie ever.
That's one of the reasons why I loved it, because nowadays everything is a freaking remake, a reboot of this, of that, or a Marvel movie where it's just a bunch of like crazy, amazing animation from graphic designers. But like, there's actually no substance to it, or even Avatar. I still haven't seen the new one. I don't really care to see the new one. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's incredible. I would love to see like, you know, an abbreviated version. But like, I feel like it lacks in actual substance. And I feel like a lot of the movies that actually think deep are very rare. And it was one of the few movies that actually had such an original concept, such an amazing cast. I watched the behind the scenes of it and how they did certain things, and like even with the props and everything, and like one of the scenes where like he's whipping his bag and everything, and like how they made it where it is the actual bag, but they had to cover up the buckle and everything. Like really interesting stuff. But like,
hey, what's that guy's name who won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor? He was in The Goonies. He won an Oscar for that movie. Ke-Huy Quan.
And he hasn't been in like anything since then, because the one thing with America, aside from, you know, being very behind in terms of like black rights and everything, Asians, America just like never even like consider that part of like an issue. It just like wasn't an issue. Who cares about the representation? Like, you know, whatever. In America, it's very common to just very like dismiss them or think of them as less than if they don't speak, you know, proper perfect English. And it's very sad. And I feel like
they would all just play like Long Duck Dong characters from 16 Candles.
Exactly right. They if they ever got any roles, it was like the stereotypical Asian where they played into. It's like, you know, back in like the, you know, late 90s or early 2000s, it was like if they ever did have gay characters, they were like the super gay, like they love show tunes, all that glitter, scarves, like
stereotypes.
Those are beyond the stereotypes, exaggerated. So like that's all the representation they would give. So it's like now, like one of the first movies was what was the name of the movie? It was so good. And it was like the first like all Asian cast with the girl, the guy in the airplane.
I was about to
called
say
like Crazy Asian
Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians was so good.
I was about to say that, but I didn't want to sound like, oh my God, you're so out of line.
Exactly. No, but that is exactly what it is. And it's like, and I was watching the interviews and they were talking about it, and it really, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even realize that there really is zero representation. So like, it is very good, but I feel like the Oscars isn't doing it because they're really whatever. I do feel like it's because like, look at us. We're trying to be diverse because we got such backlash.
Didn't Marvel also come out with like a Chinese like superhero? The Lost Rings of something. And
it's not because they're trying so hard to show us everything.
Yes, you're right.
Us. But like, you know, it's like when certain things, when they just have a gay character in a show, it's one thing. But the other shows, like when you feel like they're just pushing, like, look, we have a gay character, ooh, representation. Right. It's just like, it comes up just so disingenuous and like really.
It's crazy that he literally hasn't been. He was in like one other like non-mainstream movie.
He's so talented.
Since the 80s. In The Goonies, he was a kid, and I love that movie. One of my favorite movies of all time.
I highly recommend also you watch his acceptance speech, because
I watched it.
Like it's
That's the only thing I saw. Literally, the only part of the Oscars I saw was his acceptance speech.
My Chaim Levin was like, he's watching Oscars. I was like, why? Like, do people still watch that stuff? Like, why don't you just watch the highlights?
I just like the red carpet.
Afterwards?
I just like the red carpet.
But you get it like, you know, live on your phone if you wanted to. Like, I feel like it's like, who's actually sitting down watching these events anymore?
And he gave a shout out to his Goonies, to the kid from the Goonies, that Jewish kid, Jeff Cohen. I think he plays he's the chubby kid who becomes friends with Locke. I love that movie.
Of course he's a chubby kid. When you have that many holidays,
oh yeah, I was
literally, it's a sabotaging. So was I.
Guys, Purim ruined me this year.
Purim ruins everyone.
I don't eat on Purim, so.
Really, Akiva? Hadassah's a hamantash and meat things?
Yeah, I eat 1 or 2 in the morning, but then you start drinking, it's hard to eat.
Spilling the tea, throwing them under the bus.
Spilling the tea, I didn't get any of those. No one brought them to me.
First of all, we ate the entire platter.
He was like, you're really missing out. I'm like, well, if you lived in Israel, I wouldn't be missing out, dude.
We're on the way.
So when you are in the way, bring me some of those hamantash and brisket things, bavakasha. Thank you.
I think we're trying to do.
It was bad.
I think we're trying to potentially do after this next year. We have another year in our lease. We're gonna, I think, do like a trial year.
Yay!
What is this, like a sleep bed? Like one of those like sleeper beds? You get a 90-day trial or something like that?
Yeah, this is a 365-day money-back guarantee, except there's no money back.
I know, but where are you going to trial?
Guarantee.
Are you going to get like a trial, like a 1 year, like you'll get like a 1 year lease somewhere?
Yeah, we'll probably rent. Yeah, I mean, if we moved, we'd probably rent anyways, because I don't want to jump into buying something, and then get stuck somewhere.
If I told my husband, let's move to Israel, we'd leave tomorrow. Like, if I
really, he's ready to go?
100%.
Really? I feel like he's doing all of his stuff, so I feel like you'd be the one to go first. Well, I mean, your mother wouldn't let you, because your mother would love to have you here, because you'd be leaving with the grandchild. But
right. Well, if it was up to my mother, our houses would be attached.
But also, I feel like in Israel, like you could make a lot of money, obviously, in America as a doctor in Israel. It's socialized medicine, so you're kind of, that's why it's you're not really making any money there. I feel like it's pretty wild jump.
This is verbatim. This is verbatim what he said, and this is one of the many reasons I love him. He's like, but every time you're helping someone, you're helping a fellow Jew there.
That's really nice.
Quelling.
Also, if he had like the energy and everything, he could go. I know a lot of doctors here who do go back and forth. Like one of my parents' neighbors.
Yeah, I had a rabbi that did that.
And also, like, doctors, because a lot of it's remote, he can read scans, like, at different times. That's another doctor in my parents' neighborhood, and that's what he does. He lives here, and I'm like, that's freaking amazing. It doesn't get better than that.
Flying back is hard, because one of my rabbis flew back, he said in retrospect. And be like,
oh, you're fucked, bitch, and then looking, oh, you're good to go. Okay.
I think it's hard on It's hard on kids though when you're constantly flying. One of my rabbis would fly back for like 9 days every month, and he told me he thinks it really in retrospect he's like, I would never do that again. I think it really messed up.
Okay, except for growing up, my father used to work only in Chicago, and then they literally sat us down. I remember it so clearly at a Shabbat table. They were sitting us down, and they're like, okay, so we have something to talk about. I'm like, what, are you getting divorced? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what? So they're like trying to break down us that my dad's starting to like work because he started like he used to work in nursing homes and he like bought nursing homes. So he's going to start going to Michigan once a week. So he's not going to be around as much. And me and like, we're all looking at each other like, okay. Like,
you sat us down for this.
Right. Like he might be in a different state that's like really nice, but like, oh, we never saw him before.
You could have told us on the intercom.
Literally. We didn't have an intercom back then. We were poor. It wasn't until later on, March 9/1. And yeah. So we're all sitting there like, right. But he was always working because my father used to we used to not have any money. And like my father really worked his way up from the bottom. He used to sell health and beauty supplies out of the back of a truck. Like that's
my mom used to help the Israelis. My mom also, like, I'm so proud of her. She owns her own business, but like my parents moved from the former Soviet Union in like the mid 70s. And my mom used to work, like, she used to help the Israelis, like, on the kiosks at the mall, like, jewelry at the mall. But, like, now she has her own healthcare business. And, yeah, I
always do that when I walk by those Israelis in the mall. And they're working with someone. I always say, like, this guy has the best products. And,
Really? They always try pulling me. I'm like, bitch, really? First of all, I literally live in Israel now. Second of all, like, really?
Also,
I walk past them. I know cosmetics. I'm like, bitch. Don't get me started.
I don't know about you. I'm sure you like helped your wife like study for exams and stuff. When I don't know about
as much as I could.
Right, I'm thinking
I feel like I'm an honorary doctor. Like Adam's looking at a scan and I walk by and I'm like, that does not look good.
Okay, so I'm not married to a doctor, but I do watch Botched, and I'm like, if you want to fix the nose, you're gonna have to take some cartilage from the ear, obviously. Like I literally watch it. I'm like, I could just be a doctor at this point.
That looks like a serious venous malformation right there.
Right? And then, yesterday we were looking at the girl, and I'm not accusing her, but the girl with the feather at the thing with the Academy Awards. And I'm like, Lauren, her boobs are totally fake. And she's like, you think so? I was like, first of all, no one's boobs stay up like that. Second of all, there's no way they're not in anything. You couldn't tape at the bottom. I was like, but if you look over there, she's like, oh yeah, there's some bubbling. I'm like, it's called rippling, and when you get an implant, sometimes you get some rippling in that area.
Oh my God.
She's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I watched Botched. Shout out Dr. Dubrow and Dr. Nassif. I want you to do my next
shout out.
I want to get a brow lift. I tell you, Ilana, I want a brow lift. That's my next excursion.
On that note,
right?
of Sheldon's brow lift.
I'll come with you and be a supportive friend.
Fund my bros. What?
I said I'll come with you and be a supportive friend. Like I came with you to get your first tattoo.
It wasn't my first one. No, my first one was my stars. Oh, you were there too.
The thigh.
Yeah, and then she came with me to get this one.
Sheldon, as soon as he got the tattoo, he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta send a pic to my therapist."
Literally, I'm still.
Were you with me, Sheldon, at my first tattoo?
You mean the huge one that covers your entire arm?
I kind of sometimes wish, like, at that time in my life, I would have gotten a tattoo so I could, like, have it now and
too late, right?
Feel guilty about it.
Oh,
but...
I have a hypothetical Ilana, and hypothetical Ilana has, like, 7 really cute ones, but real Ilana doesn't.
Right. I'm the same. I would be covered in tattoos.
Well, you can always do, like, an avatar, like, you know, on, like, The Sims or something and give it tattoos. Or get a henna. Supposedly, someone just told me they have these tattoo things that last 18 months.
Yes.
I want to get one. It's called Ethereal or something.
I just saw that.
Just told me about it. I was like, oh, that's not... Especially because I feel like for a lot of people, like some people just like jump into it, like, oh, I'm going to get a tattoo. Let me just pick out something. Where it's like the only one I did was my first one. Other than that, like all these were like thought out. Like, so I feel like if you get something, if it's 18 months, it's like, okay, maybe you like it, maybe you don't.
They had this guy in the city a few years ago who was like a famous tattoo artist, and anyone could come, you stick your arm through a hole, and he just drew whatever he wanted on your arm.
Well, if he was like a really
people
famous
were
artist,
lining
maybe.
up.
But like, you know, there's some people that always say to me like, but what happens when you get like all old and wrinkly? I'm like, first of all, I won't. But for the other people who are like regular and shit, who don't get body lifts, if you're old and wrinkly and gross, you're old and wrinkly and gross, whether there's a tattoo or not. The end.
Yep.
If your skin's nasty,
it also doesn't look that. It also doesn't look that bad. I've seen old people with tattoos. It doesn't look terrible.
It's
also,
really just
if you like competition shows like Chopped and whatever, I highly recommend watching Ink Master.
Ink Master.
Oh, girl! Oh my god! Of course, hello. I love watching the episodes on YouTube, like the compilations, like when they messed up or something. The best.
And the fights,
like Tattoo Nightmares, like when they walk in with like their daughter's name spelled wrong on their arm, they're like, "Fix this."
It never made sense to me though that like Ink Masters isn't totally fair. There is an element of luck in terms of who your canvas is, because some of the people were like, I can't do it anymore, and they left.
You know, some of them have opinions, and that's all right. That's the thing also, is it's not like they're given, like on a lot of other shows, like, you know, with makeup and stuff like that, it's like you're given the thing, they're a model.
Right.
They're there, you do your thing, the end. And it's not like that with the show, but I don't know how much of that is actual reality versus how much of it is.
I think part of the challenge is you're supposed to try to like calm them down and help walk them through it.
Is that actual part of the challenge, or is that the part of the show
it's
that
part
gives
of being
it its twist?
Right, exactly.
Because no one who's going on these shows are shitty at what they do. Like they're not like, but like with the time limit and the this and the that, and blah, blah, and it's just about the drama they need to create to make it an appealing show.
Fast pace.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, I think on that note,
oh my god, this was so much fun, you guys.
We totally just did a Jewish goodbye because Akiva said that like 5 minutes ago, like on that note, and then we just jumped into something else. So a very Jewish goodbye.
Totally.
Exactly.
Totally. It's like we gotta get out of here. Yeah, totally. But you know, it has been real. Thank you so much, Ilana, for joining us today.
Be real.
It's been so nice. Check her out, Ilana. What's your like Instagram and your website? Like, what do you have going on?
Like they have, I have an Instagram, Sababa Creative _ in the middle. Yeah, just check me out on Insta. I have a website, but if you're really that interested,
we'll drop a link in the description box below. As you do, and we'll catch everyone next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Speak to you soon.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.